on, y'all? Welcome back to the chaos. So, continuing our maintenance day, Paul is here with his hot rod. He's got a 2008 Mustang GT, and we're gonna do an oil change today, as well as, what else can we get to?
Transmission fluid change.
So, transmission fluid change. So, hopefully not too bad, but we're gonna start up here. The car is warm, so we'll go ahead and drain the motor oil first, and then we'll try to tackle the transmission fluid. And Paul's actually got a little hack, so he doesn't even have to drain the oil in this bad boy. What he'll do is he'll just suck it up from the top, and he's got an extended life filter, so no need to change the filter today. So this one should actually be very, very easy. So Paul and his little contraption makes things really nice. Didn't even have to really get dirty. So, and like I said, because he's got that like extended life filter, didn't have to worry about changing that today. This is the first time though that the oil has been changed since our track day. So I'm curious to see, he's been driving around and stuff, what comes out of that catch can. Because that was an installation done right before the last track day. So curious to see when he empties that, what actually comes out. A little bit came out of there, so not too much. That's not bad at all. But that means it's doing its job. So it's catching all that blow by, which you don't want getting recirculated back through the motor. So that's good. And that catch can, that's one of those things that I've actually bought for the Z. I haven't actually installed yet. I just haven't had time. Imagine that. But you can definitely tell it's a much needed mod, especially if you are going to track your car, just so it does catch all that blow by. So that's a simple, easy thing, easy to access, especially on his car. It lucked up with the placement of it. He was easy access, and plus it looks cool too. I really wish, I told Paul, I wish I would have timed it, because that was the fastest, he says NASCAR style oil change, but for real, without having to change the filter and then just drawing it out that pump. And like the crazy part is it could be even faster because he did it by hand, where you can hook it up to an air compressor and it just sucks the oil like even faster. So you could be done in less than 5 minutes, I feel like, but even this was probably 10 tops, crazy. But one maintenance requirement down, so on to the next. We're gonna pull some of the power steering out, and he's gonna gradually kind of flush that. So just pull a little bit out instead of like draining the whole system. Pull a little bit out and then keep adding fluid and just kind of do that. Eventually over time, it will bleed itself out to where he'll have all fresh fluid. So like I was saying, he's not gonna empty the whole system, so you can kind of see like that, the dark line at the bottom. So enough to leave, enough in the system not to have to fully drain the whole thing, but you do that enough times, eventually you'll have all new fluid in there. So just sucked out enough. Now we're gonna add some, and this one actually takes not power steering fluid, but ATF fluid. Well, things are going so good, it's almost, I'm questioning like, are we actually doing a good job? But knocked out the oil change, knocked out power steering, and then now I think this is where it's gonna get a little bit trickier, but time for transmission fluid. So we'll get the car up on jack stands and see what we're working with. So underneath the Mustang now, and you can kind of see it sticking out right there, that's our drain plug. So, and we're actually not gonna crack that one first because we'd hate to drain it and then not be able to fill it. So there's, I don't really know if this is, I guess this crossbar is like you're holding up your transmission, like a transmission mount. On the back side of that, if I can get the camera, you can kind of see right there. You go, perfect. That's the fill plug. So
A little tricky to get to, but shouldn't be a big deal. So we'll grab 3/8 socket, or just the actual wrench, put that on there. If we can loosen that up, then we should be good to go. But we'll test that first. Like I said, you don't want to end up in a mess where you can't get that loosened up and then you have no transmission fluid.
We're able to get the old transmission fluid out, and man, it gave us a surprise. It was coming out nicely, it was flowing all good, and then she like burped on us or something, and then we were in the splash zone, so we made a mess. But I mean, no way to avoid it. But now that we've got it draining, we're gonna go ahead and set up so that way while it's draining, we'll be ready to put the new stuff in. So this 08 GT requires 3.2 and you have to be very precise. So we've got our 3.2 of it's the automatic transmission and power steering fluid, because it acts as both. But so the same stuff that we use to fill up the power steering is now going in the transmission, but 3.2. So Paul's got his little homemade dipstick. So that's how we're gonna measure our 0.2. So we'll see how this goes. Paul's down under the car. He's putting that drain plug back in, and he's gonna torque it down to 20 foot-pounds. After he gets that done, then we'll start filling it up.
Mission success. So we got 3.2 quarts of new Mercon 5 transmission fluid in the car. No leaks with it not running. Hopefully once we crank it up, get things up to temperature, no leaks there either. Really not that bad a job. You have to get the car jacked up and level so that way you can check the fluid. Has to be 1/2 inch below the fill hole. So I had that little makeshift dipstick thing that I used to test. Basically, once we got to 3 quarts, just a little bit at a time after that until we got to the point where it was full. So yeah, not too bad job.
Like Paul said, he's gonna go ahead and start the car now. So my job is gonna be crawl up under there, make sure we have no leaks whatsoever, and then we should be good to go. Call that a day's well done. We got Paul's project wrapped up, so we were able to get the oil changed very easily, power steering, got that flushed a little bit, and then his transmission fluid was actually pretty easy as well. So we're doing all this maintenance stuff in preparation to hit the track again this season. So we were able to hit up Carolina Motorsports Park last year, and then Little Rock, Rockingham as well. And we hope to get at least back to those tracks, if not more. So maintenance like this goes a long way for that track prep. I appreciate everybody watching. If you will, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one.